Welcome to the Brilliant Fertility Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Katie Rose, and this podcast exists to help illuminate the path ahead of you. With expert interviews, clinical pearls, and real client success stories, my intention is to bring you hope for what's possible on this journey and to give you tools and resources to navigate the ups and downs on the road before you. If you find this podcast helpful, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite listening platform. And I have a big request. If you have a minute, can you leave us a 5-star review? And let us know, what did you learn? What did you come away with? Did you leave with that spark of hope? This helps more people like you find the podcast. My mission is to support as many humans as possible on their path to become parent. And by you sharing and subscribing, you're part of that mission too. And I'm so grateful for you for being here. Welcome back to the Brilliant Fertility Podcast. I feel like today's conversation is a real treat. And while there might be a little bit of resistance to this topic, I think it's also a perfect time of year to be bringing this up. So, some common questions that I get in my practice are, how can I let go of feeling like I need to try so hard? How can I reduce my anxiety, or what else can I do to reduce my anxiety? How can I increase my receptivity? And the common answer that I have for these 3 common questions is gratitude. And I'm not just talking about, gaslighting yourself into, just listing off some things. You're like, okay, yeah, I feel grateful that I'm alive. I feel grateful for a family member. I mean like a deep sense of gratitude that you can feel in your body. And why is this connected to these things? So why is this connected to being able to let go of feeling like you are trying so hard, or reducing anxiety, or increasing receptivity? I'll discuss these, and then at the end of this episode, I have about a 15-minute gratitude meditation. So be sure to set aside some time for that, where you can safely find a comfortable spot. But let's really dive into this concept of gratitude. I mean, we're all aware of what it is, right? Expressing appreciation, expressing thanks. But in the laws of the universe, gratitude equates to receptivity. And what do I mean by that? When someone gives you a compliment, instead of allowing it to just bounce right off, or being like, oh my gosh, like someone comments your sweater and you're like, this old thing, I got this at Goodwill. Like, what would happen if you deeply received that compliment and you truly felt it and just said, thank you? That gratitude is equal to your ability to receive, and vice versa. Your ability to receive is equal to the extent to which you express and feel gratitude. So beyond platitudes, truly finding what you are grateful for and being very intentional about spending time in gratitude, expressing your appreciation for the people in your world who help out even in the smallest of ways, is also a way of reducing anxiety, reducing the feeling of efforting. I had a patient who, in her recent follow-up, one of the things that we had set a goal to work on between her first visit and her second visit, where we were reviewing all of her lab work, was establishing a sense of gratitude and using some grounding tools to help with some of the spiraling anxious thoughts that she had been having. And when we got on the call, before we pull up lab work, I always just ask people, like, if there's anything I should know about before we jump into that discussion. And she said, yeah, I realized that my brain cannot be in gratitude and anxious at the same time. So I've just been spending a lot more time in gratitude. And I just absolutely loved that because that's probably the simplest way I've ever heard anyone describe their experience with it. And that's been my experience with it too. My true gratitude practice started in the months leading up to conceiving my second son. And what that looked like for me was as soon as my head would hit the pillow at bedtime, I would just close my eyes and silently think to myself about all of the things that I felt grateful for. And it could have been something as simple as like, oh, I'm so grateful for this clean pillowcase on my pillow. It just feels so fresh and soft. And like really noticing where I felt that gratitude in my body. For me, it tends to be like in the heart space, in the chest, and comes with this feeling of like melting, expansion, relaxation. It just feels really good to be in gratitude. So both, the bigger, more profound things like opening your eyes when you first wake up in the morning and feeling grateful to be alive, but also going outside and feeling the sun on your face. Like these are all moments that we can spend just a few seconds feeling that gratitude and allowing that to open us up to even more good. And how this relates to the energetics of fertility. Well, fertility is receptive process. Like physically, physiologically, we want the endometrium to be receptive. And yes, there's hormones at play there. Progesterone, particularly, is the hormone that leads to receptivity of the endometrial lining. But even within the world of energetics, progesterone is a hormone that has a level of like spiritual connotation around stability and gratitude. So I would argue that people who are struggling to, get their progesterone levels up or extend their luteal phase, that I have even seen a change in my clinical results when I've taught people how to incorporate more gratitude into their day to day. And, I've been doing this for 11 years and I've had situations where, everything has been perfectly aligned physically, where people have been taking their supplements and eating perfectly, but they're so up in their heads that it's been challenging to slow down and find those moments of gratitude and receiving. Um, and another example that I'll give is with supplements. It's so easy to get overwhelmed by supplements on the fertility journey. And if you're in a place where you're feeling like, oh my God, I am just like shoving these in, I don't even know if they're working, kind of resenting them because I hate choking these down and I'm spending all this money. That's not a great energy to be in when you want something to work. So I'd invite you, if you have been feeling that way, to, as you take those supplements, imagining that every single cell in your body is receiving that nutrient, it's receiving that information, and being grateful that you have the ability to access this supplement. And not just gaslighting ourselves into gratitude, but like actually pausing, like, wow, like I am so grateful that I have this CoQ10, that it's giving my mitochondria the ability to produce more energy. I'm just imagining it flowing to each and every cell, allowing it to do its job. I advocate for a similar process for my patients who are going through IVF and using stim medications. There can be so much resistance to beginning that process, and the injections and how overwhelming it is to get your stim schedule and be looking at like, oh my God, I have to organize all of this. And then the actual act of the injection can have a lot of charge to it. And just imagining the receptivity of all of the cells to that medication. Like as it's being injected, imagining this golden flow of light going to the ovaries, giving them the exact information they need to allow those follicles to mature and do what they're meant to do, and bringing gratitude with you on that journey. Being grateful that you have the ability to access these medications and get them in their body. And I do acknowledge that to a certain extent, it's like no one is grateful for infertility. Like it sucks. So being able to acknowledge, validate the experience of the hard parts of this is fundamental to also then being able to express gratitude. And no one wants to be in the situation where they have to be injecting themselves, where they have to be spending tens of thousands of dollars when other people don't have to do that. But when we can shift our perspective, when we can find the things that we are genuinely grateful for, then it expands all that possibility and receptivity for us. So, with this conversation, of course, happening around the holidays, happening especially around our United States Thanksgiving, uh, there's so much charge around holidays as well, and we talked about that in our last episode. And with this, I want to just open up the pathway to gratitude, and in doing so, open up that pathway to receptivity in whatever way fits for you, knowing that you can take the bits of this that you like, that apply, that feel good for you, and the parts that just don't feel true for you, like you don't have to force that on. You could imagine that this is just like trying on clothes at a fitting room, and there are going to be some things that fit you perfectly and make you feel really good. And there'll be other things that you try on and you're like, I kind of hate how this makes me feel. And you know what? You can take that off. You don't have to take that with you. So you have choice here. And if you choose to explore gratitude, then I welcome you to set aside about 15 minutes to get comfortable and practice this meditation that I've added in here. I hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving if you're here in the States. I hope you're having just a really peaceful season wherever you are, and sending you so much love. Beginning to bring awareness to your breath. Not necessarily directing the breath towards any length or location just yet, but just being in awareness. Noticing the sensation of cool air coming in through the nostrils and how good it feels to let go as you exhale. And maybe you bring a sense of gratitude to the breath, noticing that it's pretty awe-inspiring how our unconscious directs this breath even when we sleep. Maybe you bring your awareness to the heart space. You extend a sense of gratitude to the heart and the part of the unconscious that keeps your heart beating without any instruction from your conscious mind. Maybe bring your awareness to your abdomen, the area surrounding your belly button and underneath, and think of how amazing it is that we chew our food and then the digestive system takes over and it makes sure that we absorb all of our nutrients and process this food to the gift of energy. And now beginning to extend the breath, maybe counting to 4 as you breathe in, counting to 4 as you breathe out. Continuing this pattern of breath for the next few breaths. Breathing in and breathing out. As you've already started playing with the frequency of gratitude, with your breath, with your heart, with your digestive system, I wonder what color gratitude is for you. Is gratitude pink and sparkly? Is it earthy and grounded? However it looks and feels to you is just perfect. And as you think of something that you are immensely grateful for, your health, your family, beautiful weather, your patient husband or partner, support group, where do you feel that gratitude in your body right now? Do you feel it in your heart space? Or in your throat? Or in your solar plexus? And then a countdown from 3 to 1, I want you to notice how this gratitude expands within you, reaching all parts of you in 3, 2, and 1. Noticing the color of that light of gratitude spreading as it expands within your being. Reaching every cell in your body, every fiber of your being. Notice how the cells begin to change in their vibration as this color of gratitude reaches them. Maybe even imagining the cells saying, thank you, thank you, thank you for this nourishment. Imagining that with this frequency of gratitude, the cell membrane starts to respond. All the receptors beginning to work more effectively, all the nutrients taken in more efficiently, more energy being produced by each cell that is touched by the frequency of gratitude. And what if the frequency of gratitude was the same as the frequency of receptivity? receptive you are for your heart's desires. And the more time spent in gratitude, the more your mind, your heart, and your body begin to align. And the more time spent in gratitude, the more effective your hormones are. The more receptive your cells are to receive these hormones. That everything in the body just starts to work even better. And noticing how your body has begun to shift as you have spent these moments in gratitude. That maybe it's easier to breathe. Maybe you feel both lighter and more grounded. And maybe your shoulders feel more relaxed. That there's more spaciousness in your mind. There's an expansion within your chest. That your body feels more settled. Bringing your awareness back to what you've felt so genuinely thankful for. Your family and the support they provide. Your health. Beautiful weather, if that's true where you are right now. Unconditional love and support of a group that you may be in, and maybe out loud or to yourself just saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanking yourself for having this gratitude, thanking the people, the places, the parts of your body. Thanking God or the universe for placing these in your life. And getting curious about what else can continue to find gratitude for. Something as seemingly small as stepping outside in the morning and feeling the sun on your face. To something as profound as waking up in the morning and deciding that because you are alive today, you are meant to be here. That because you are here today, you are a walking miracle. And that even when things don't make sense and when it feels like you have tried so hard and things don't always add up, hard work doesn't always mean the result that you hoped for? What if finding gratitude, finding stillness, what if these were part of the answer of fulfilling your hopes and dreams? What if there was no more hard work necessary? What if you could let go of the trying and instead find new ways of being, starting with gratitude? And knowing that every moment that you choose to spend in gratitude, you are increasing your receptivity for all the beauty and the possibility that is meant for you. Some days may feel like a greater challenge, finding something to be grateful for. That this is part of being human, and this is a practice, this is a discipline. And the more you practice the state of gratitude, the easier it becomes, more attuned your awareness will be towards things, people, objects that bring great joy. With this practice, those neural pathways in the brain for gratitude getting stronger and stronger. Systems in the body aligning with more and more ease. Cells performing at their highest function. The endocrine glands putting their hormones out exactly as they were meant to. The uterine lining responding effortlessly to the hormone signals, creating the perfect environment of receptivity. Before you come out, reminding yourself the color of your gratitude. Anchoring in that color, anchoring in that feeling where you first felt gratitude in your body. Maybe saying out loud or to yourself, I am here and I am so grateful. And this is now carried with you as a part of your being, and finding those moments of gratitude become more and more easeful every day.